Galactic Deception: A Race to Save the Universe. Chapter 1. The Shadow in Andromeda. Dr. Ava Torres gazed out the viewport of her spaceship, watching as the bright swirls of light from the Andromeda galaxy came into focus. She had spent her entire life studying the stars, and this was her greatest opportunity yet. She was leading the first expedition to Andromeda, a mission that would take years to complete. As her ship approached the massive galaxy, Ava noticed a dark shadow in the distance. She called out to her team, warning them to be on high alert, but they dismissed her concerns. They were too busy marveling at the beauty of the galaxy to notice anything else. But Ava's uneasiness grew as they ventured closer to the shadow. It was almost as if it was alive, looming over them like a malevolent presence. She tried to steer the ship away from it, but it was too late. The shadow engulfed them, and the ship was plunged into darkness. Ava's heart raced as she desperately tried to regain control of the ship. Her fingers flew over the console, trying to find a way to escape the shadow's grasp. Her crewmates screamed as the ship spun out of control, threatening to tear apart at any moment. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, the ship suddenly lurched free from the shadow's grip. Ava let out a breath she didn't realize she had been holding and powered up the engines to get them as far from the shadow as possible. But the damage had been done. The ship had sustained severe damage, and they were stranded in the middle of deep space. With their supplies dwindling and no hope for rescue, Ava knew they had to come up with a plan if they wanted to survive. As they struggled to survive, Ava couldn't shake the feeling that the shadow was still out there, watching them. She knew they were not alone in the vast expanse of space, and whatever was out there was not friendly. Little did she know, the shadow was just the beginning of their troubles. They were about to discover a terrifying secret hidden deep within the Andromeda galaxy, one that would threaten not just their own survival, but the fate of the entire universe. Chapter 2. The hunt for the traitors. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months as Ava and her crew struggled to survive in the vast expanse of space. They scavenged what they could from the damaged ship, rationed their food and water, and huddled together for warmth in the frigid void of space. But amidst their struggle, something sinister was brewing. Ava noticed that their supplies were dwindling faster than they should have, and someone, or something, was sabotaging their efforts to repair the ship. She called a meeting with her crew, demanding that they come forward if anyone knew anything about the missing supplies or the sabotaged equipment. But there was no response, only silence and suspicious looks from her once loyal crewmates. The tension grew thicker with each passing day, and Ava knew that something had to be done. She rallied the few crewmates who she trusted and formed a secret group to root out the traitors in their midst. They monitored the ship's security systems, watched each other's backs, and slowly pieced together evidence against the traitors. It was hard to keep their plan hidden from the others, but they did everything in their power to maintain secrecy. Finally, they discovered the truth. 2 of their crewmates had been secretly exchanging messages with an unknown entity. They had been passing on information about the ship's systems, its weaknesses, and its limited resources. Ava confronted them, wielding her authority with fierce determination. They both denied any wrongdoing, but the evidence was too strong. They had no choice but to confess to their crimes. Ava's heart ached with betrayal, but she was not about to let them get away with their treachery. They were promptly placed in confinement, and the crew breathed a collective sigh of relief now that the traitors had been exposed. But their victory was short-lived. As they were preparing to leave the damaged ship and venture out into the unknown once again, they were ambushed by unknown assailants. They fought fiercely, but their attackers were obviously more skilled in combat and weaponry. One by one, Ava's team fell, leaving her alone to face the attackers. She gritted her teeth and fought on, knowing that her survival was crucial for the fate of the universe. With a final push, Ava vanquished the last of the attackers, but not before they revealed their true identity. They were agents sent by a powerful alien race, intent on keeping Ava and her team from discovering the truth about their plans for the Andromeda galaxy. With this new knowledge, Ava knew that their mission was more important than ever. The fate of the universe hung in the balance, and she vowed to see it through, no matter what dangers lay ahead. Chapter 3. The treacherous war. Ava and her team had managed to avoid further attacks as they ventured deeper into the Andromeda galaxy. They discovered a planet teeming with life unlike any they had ever seen before. But as they were setting up camp and preparing to explore, they were once again ambushed. This time, it was a full-scale attack. The assailants were the same alien race that had attacked them previously, only with reinforcements. Ava and her team fought bravely, but they were outnumbered and outmatched. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, they were suddenly rescued by a group of unknown fighters. They were taken to a hidden base where they met with the leader, a fierce warrior named Ryland. Ryland revealed that his people were fighting a war against the same alien race that had been attacking Ava's team. They were on the front lines, battling to prevent the aliens from taking over the galaxy. Ava was shocked. She had never even heard about the war before. Ryland explained that the aliens had been using mind control devices to manipulate and enslave entire races of beings throughout the galaxy. But with the help of their new allies, Ava and her team formulated a plan to take down the mind control devices and free the enslaved races. It was a dangerous mission, but they knew they had to fight for what was right. Their plan succeeded, but at a cost. Many brave fighters lost their lives in the battle, including Ryland himself. Ava was devastated, but she knew they couldn't lose focus. There was more work to be done if they were going to win the war for the fate of the galaxy. With their ranks bolstered by the allies they had saved, Ava and her team waged war against the alien forces. It was a long and treacherous battle, filled with narrow escapes, brutal fights, and losses on both sides. But in the end, they emerged victorious. The galaxy was free from the tyranny of the alien race, and the enslaved races were able to rebuild their civilizations and once again flourish. Ava and her team looked out at the newly liberated galaxy with a sense of pride and accomplishment. But as they prepared to leave and return home, they knew that they had to keep vigilant. There would always be evil forces lurking in the shadows, waiting for their chance to strike. With one final look, Ava bid farewell to the galaxy that had brought them so much danger and adventure, grateful for the opportunity to have played a part in its liberation. Chapter 4. The secret of the Empress. Ava and her team were hailed as heroes upon their return home. A parade was held in their honor, and they were showered with praise and admiration from the media and the public. But amidst all the glory, Ava couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. She had seen too much during her time in the Andromeda galaxy to believe that everything was as it seemed. Her instincts proved to be right when a mysterious stranger approached her with a cryptic message. He claimed to have information about a dark secret that was being kept by the Federation, a secret that could threaten the entire universe if it were to be exposed. Ava was intrigued and accepted the stranger's invitation to meet him at a secret location. There, she learned that the source of the danger was none other than the Empress of the Federation herself. The stranger revealed that the Empress had been infected with a deadly alien virus, one that would eventually drive her insane and cause her to lash out at the galaxy with destructive force. The Federation was keeping it a secret, fearing the panic and chaos that would ensue if the truth were to be known. But Ava knew that the right thing to do was to expose the truth and find a cure for the virus before it was too late. She formed a secret team of trusted individuals and began the treacherous journey to find the cure. As they searched high and low for any sign of a cure, their journey became increasingly dangerous. They were chased by Federation agents, attacked by unknown assailants, and betrayed by those they thought they could trust. But Ava and her team persevered, believing that the fate of the universe was at stake. They finally discovered a promising lead, a secret facility hidden deep within an asteroid belt where the cure was supposedly being developed. They infiltrated the facility, fighting their way past the guards and the traps. Finally, they reached the lab where the cure was being tested. But as they were administering it to the Empress, they discovered a horrifying truth: the Federation was not trying to cure her at all. They were using her as a test subject for a powerful new bioweapon, one that could destroy entire planets if it were to be unleashed. Ava knew that she had to act fast. She rallied her team and waged a final battle against the Federation's forces. It was a brutal fight, with both sides suffering heavy losses. But in the end, Ava emerged victorious. The Empress was cured, and Ava had exposed the Federation's dark secret. She was hailed once again as a hero, but this time, she knew that it was not just for saving a galaxy, but for exposing the truth. Ava looked out at the newly liberated galaxy with a sense of pride and satisfaction, knowing that she had done what was right, no matter the cost. Chapter 5. The Deadly Alliance. Ava thought that her battles were over, but she was wrong. A new threat was looming on the horizon, one that had the power to destroy everything that she had fought so hard to protect. She received an urgent message from an old ally, warning her of a dangerous new alliance that was being formed. A coalition of powerful alien races had joined forces, pooling their resources and technology in order to create an army that would dominate the universe. Ava knew that she had to act fast to prevent this alliance from forming. She contacted her old team and formed an alliance of her own, bringing together the most powerful and skilled warriors she knew. Their mission was to infiltrate the coalition and disrupt their plans before they could be put into action. They traveled to the stronghold of the coalition, hiding in plain sight and blending in with the masses. As they gathered intel, Ava's team started to realize just how powerful the coalition was. Their weapons far surpassed any technology available in the Federation, and their numbers were immense. Ava knew that this was going to be the toughest fight of their lives. The coalition soon caught on to their infiltration, and they launched a massive counterattack. Ava and her team fought fiercely, using every ounce of their strength and skill to push back the attackers. But the fight was far from over. The coalition's leaders had a surprise up their sleeves, a superweapon that could wipe out entire planets with a single shot. Ava knew that they couldn't risk the coalition gaining control of the superweapon. She formulated a plan to sabotage it, one that would require them to split up and work in teams. As they split up, Ava's team faced impossible odds. They were outnumbered and outgunned, and it seemed like they were fighting a losing battle. But they refused to give up. They fought on, determined to save the universe from the tyranny of the coalition. And just when all hope seemed lost, they emerged victorious. Ava's team had successfully sabotaged the superweapon, rendering it useless. Without it, the coalition was forced to retreat, vanquished in their quest for dominance. Ava looked out at the galaxy with a sense of relief, but she also knew that they had to stay vigilant. There was always a new threat lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. But as Ava and her team returned home, they knew that they had done what they could to protect the universe. They had fought with courage, skill, and determination, and most importantly, they had done what was right, no matter the cost. Chapter 6. The ultimate sacrifice. Months went by without any new threats or battles. Ava and her team had returned to their normal lives, looking back on their adventures as if they were a distant memory. But one day, Ava received a distress signal from an old friend. A rogue faction of the Federation had gone rogue, taking control of a secret facility that held a dangerous prototype, a weapon capable of destroying entire star systems. Ava knew that she had to act fast to stop this faction from causing any more destruction. With her team by her side, she launched a daring attack on the facility. They fought ferociously, taking down the faction's forces one by one. As they reached the core of the facility, they found that the weapon had already been activated. Ava knew that they only had one chance to stop the weapon before it could destroy everything in its path. She made the ultimate sacrifice, staying behind as her team escaped with the prototype in tow. Ava sealed herself in the core room, knowing that there was no other way to save the universe from certain doom. As the weapon finally exploded, Ava braced herself for the end. But instead of dying, Ava found herself transported to another dimension. She was greeted by an ethereal being, who explained that she had been chosen by fate to become a guardian of the universe. She was granted incredible powers, charged with the responsibility of watching over the universe and protecting it from any danger that might arise. Ava accepted her new role with a sense of awe and responsibility. She knew that she had been given a second chance, and she was determined to use it to make a difference. As she looked out at the universe, now safe and secure, Ava knew that she had made the right choice. She had sacrificed everything in order to save the universe, but in doing so, she had found a new purpose greater than anything she had ever known before. And so, Ava took to the stars once again, ready to face any new danger that might arise, knowing that she had the power, the skill, and the determination to protect the universe she loved so much. Chapter 7. The New Dawn. Ava had been a guardian of the universe for many years, and during that time, she had faced countless challenges and dangers. But she had never felt more alive. She traveled the galaxy, helping those in need and fighting against those who threatened the peace and stability of the universe. She had gained a reputation as a fearless warrior, a champion of justice, and a true hero. But as she looked out at the stars, Ava knew that her time as a guardian was coming to an end. She had accomplished so much, but now it was time for a new generation to take up the torch. She gathered her team together and spoke to them of the future. She reminded them that the universe was always changing, always in need of heroes to step up and take action. Ava knew that her team had what it took to be those heroes. They had fought alongside her in battles that would have broken lesser warriors, and they had emerged victorious. And so, Ava passed the torch to her team, knowing that they would continue to fight for what was right and protect the universe from harm. As she retired from her role as a guardian, Ava looked back on her life with a sense of pride and satisfaction. She had done what she could, and now it was up to the next generation to continue the fight. But she wasn't done yet. Ava knew that there were still battles to be fought, still dangers to be faced, and still lives to be saved. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew that she was ready for whatever it might bring. As she looked out at the stars once again, Ava smiled, knowing that the universe was in good hands. The dawn of a new era was upon them, and she was ready to be a part of it. As she traveled to new worlds, met new friends, and fought new battles, Ava knew that the universe was full of endless possibilities. And she was ready to face them all, with a sense of determination, courage, and strength that could never be broken.